20 stitches.
Well, welcome quilters. This is the 4th week of the March Along, the end of the 4th week of the March Along. This is the end of March. It's April 1st. Hope you enjoyed my little joke there for a second. Don't do a lot of April Fools, so have a good day. Anyway, this is Darla. I'm from the Scientific Quilter. My blog is scientificquilter.com. We just ended what I just called the March Along. For those of you who might not have already heard, it's our 15 minutes a day of sewing or quilting or designing or whatever, having fun with your quilt for 15 minutes a day during the month of March. Excuse me, I'm a little fast. My blog's at scientificquilter.com, and people have been participating using the hashtag MarchAlong on Twitter. So people have been doing their own 15 minutes of sewing and reporting back to me just how good they do. Most people aren't going day by day. A general idea of how much you can do. We're just trying to keep ourselves accountable. And I have several posts about the March Along this year, and thank you guys so much for playing along. I've had such fun doing the videos and interacting with you guys on Twitter more. Gonna get busy at work, so it might be a good time for me to have focused on quilting, and now I can focus on other stuff. And so can you. Anyway, I have already put up a blog post where you guys can jump in and report progress for what you've already done during the last week of March. A few things that I'm going to try to quickly highlight are the quilts that I'm working with. One is the dancing quilt. It's not a dancing quilt, but see, now my friend can say she had a dancing YouTube quilt. Now this is a quilt I decided to make for my friend. She was a friend from elementary school. I know some of you guys have already seen this. She had developed, I don't know how recently, breast cancer. So I took a quilt in progress and started working on it, and I've finally got some of the free motion, not free motion lines, but the what's that? The walking foot lines done. I got a little yellow on the outside, got some gray on the middle. Going to do a sunshine, and I don't know, something else in the white squares near the middle. Haven't decided all the white squares yet. And I got sunshine on the outside, and you may have seen it, I don't know, I went a little fast. I've got sunshine in the middle on the back. And I am so surprised, and it showed up in my quilting, that this is about exactly in the center of the block. Excuse me. This block here is exactly the center of the front. So I lined it up pretty well. Surprise, surprise. I had problems getting this done on I usually do straight lines even with free motion quilter, the darning foot. It usually works really well. And I've been in my room sewing on my vintage machine in the cabinet. Didn't quite work out very well. Had some issues with thread breakage. Decided I'd tried this, figuring out what it was. I got a list of all the things I tried on the blog post. I did decide to just scrap that machine. Not completely, just temporarily, and go get it looked at. I haven't gotten an appointment to get it looked at yet. And then go back to my Janome Magnolia that I have sitting. The reason I haven't gone to it is it's sitting in the kitchen, and kitchen stuff is in the kitchen, so you know, the quilters who have to accommodate know what I'm talking about when they have to move stuff around. So I finally got to at least this point on this quilt, and when I was trying to troubleshoot, I decided to base this little guy. Some of you guys may recognize this. It's got a whole bunch of podcasters kind of involved, even though it's only been here. The block itself is a mystery quilt from Sandy from Quilting for the Rest of Us. She did that. Actually, it wasn't her mystery quilt, it was one of her guildmates. She presented it on her blog as a mystery, and a lot of people I know on Twitter were doing this. And then another quilting podcaster, Very Lazy Daisy, or Daisy, from the Very Lazy Daisy podcast, found out that a third podcaster, Frances from the Off Quilter Quilt. Her mom had a stroke, and so she, Daisy, organized us to put blocks together to send to Frances. Frances has received the quilt. Daisy's amazingly fast. Woo! And I just got my little four blocks basted because I was trying to figure out what to do, and I even gave myself, this is a good tip, I basted on an extra wide piece, just some practice fabric to do some straight line or free motion quilting. I'll probably try my sunshine on here. I was trying to do this in advance to troubleshoot, and then I decided to switch ideas. I got those basted, briefly, like just the outlines. And then I decided, I got another quilt that I had basted this month. Very beginning of the month, early March, or right before March, I basted my oldest UFO. Now, it's still only, 4 or 5 years old. But still my oldest. It's my card trick. See the card trick? And, hourglass. I have it, I've had it marked for a long time. I use the friction pens, and I marked the top of the quilt. I basted it a month ago. I crumpled it up in a corner when I was doing all the other stuff I did this month, like cutting my scraps, and sure enough, it wrinkled. So I had to figure out how to smooth it all out without using an iron, because iron, friction, pens, iron is what dissolves the friction pens. So that has been my quilting progress. You might be able to notice I redecorated in the background the little house quilt. People asked about that. That was actually something I won at the quilt auction from our oldest quilter there, who actually was our featured quilter. Not really her style, but I think she might have done it for a shop quilts, because I saw a pattern in the shop. I just wanted to share with you a few other things, and I'll try to be brief. I've not been brief the last 2 times I've tried this. I received a book from C&T Publishing, had a spring sale. I think they have it every year. The books were very reasonably priced. Same price like I get at the half-price bookstore, which is how I have built my quilting book library. I finally got Annie Smith's book, The Ultimate Applique Guidebook. I've been wanting this for a long time. I am kind of burnt out on applique currently, handwork. But she's got a lot of things. She's got, tools and choosing fabrics, and this is methods of applique, and really I wanted to point out this here. I hope you can see it, and it's in focus. You've got different shapes for how the applique is going to turn out. So like this diamond shape, and then you have applique in a diamond shape. It fills that shape, and she's got lots and lots of patterns. Very thick book. So that's a folded pattern that you could do with Annie Smith's books, lots of them. So when I get back to applique, I can do this, or take parts of these. She does stress in the book about copyright, so just be careful about that. That's why I was trying to be quick and show on a video. Another book I got was One Block Wonders. This is very Darla-esque, very 3D. You use triangles and hexagons. So you do 30, 60 degrees on your rulers, and you different sizes to create shapes. And I thought this might be thought I could flip to it. I thought you guys would appreciate this. This is my Optical Illusions quilt idea. Well, it's not idea, it's their design. But this one is from Maxine Rosenthal and Joy Peltzman. And this is the cubed one, so it's probably a sequel. I don't have the original. I love French braid quilts. French braid quilts are beautiful. They're strips and squares, so rectangles and squares put together in certain ways. The quilt on the cover is a double helix. Very sciencey, scientific quilter. Love it. There's it in the better picture. And even like this quilt is a bunch of rectangles and squares. Beautiful. I hope you can see the colors. I love the colors. The back of the book shows the same quilt, I think, only different colors. And then this one also is very appealing to me. So we got the Celtic knot kind of thing, and it's all done kind of on point. So your seams are not necessarily biased, but they kind of look like that, or they You just cut them sideways. The last book I wanted to share with you that I'm going to keep is the book that I have about kind of line quilting. It's One Line at a Time Encore by Charlotte War Anderson. And she's got this line by line quilting style. I've never heard of it before, but that's just because I haven't really been paying attention. She's got these rulers, and you put them on your quilt, and then you draw from one line to, try to keep my hand steady, one line and dot to the other line and the dot. And this is a no measure way. You can do this with grids, and she shows you later in there with grids. The back page has her little lines and her little, they're like stickers, so I'm guessing they're sticky. Looks like it's stickers. Oh, the last quilt was made, the book was Jane Hardy Miller. There's a few things that I have that I might want to part with for a thank you for those of you who have participated in the march along for this month, for this year. I did have one or two people, one person win last year, and I'd like to maybe either have 3 people win or one person win 3 things. Just, again, not a giveaway in the sense that giveaway, but it's a thank you for being part of the quilting journey and quilting muscles. Those of us who have much bigger quilting muscles now. Fabric Journey is by Ruth McDowell. It's a really beautiful quilts book. She's got beautiful art quilts. She talks about how she makes all these quilts, why she makes them, what the quilting design was, what the fabric is. The cod quilt goes on. She's also got like poppies in this one. This is a really nice book. I guess right now I don't see this being a part of anything I'm going to do currently. Doesn't mean that I won't eventually repick this book back up, but I'm kind of thinking about giving this as a thank you. I also have 2 oops purchases that I like to give as a thank you. Neither one are bad necessarily. The first one is a double purchase on my part. Rotary Magic book. I don't know. I can't see an author right away. Rotary Magic has, it's simple quilt book, but it's got, I mean, it's basics. It'd be good to give a first-time quilter, or maybe somebody who has never quilted before who wants to learn. I don't know that this audience necessarily is that, unless you would want to enhance your skills by cutting octagons, by using a square piece of fabric and rulers without having to go out and cut or find any magic rulers or methods. It shows very basic things. If I find my bookmark. Like setting in triangles is one thing that they tackle. There's a lot in this book, and it'd be helpful. There's some projects in here too. So I have this book. I love it. I got 2 of them. So one of you can have one. And the last oops is a very embarrassing oops. This is a calendar for 2014. It's the Quilters Shirtless Men and Spicy Burrito calendar, given out by, or created by Megan of the Bitchy Stitcher blog, podcast, or blog. She's an author now. Bitchy Stitcher, her brother, okay, I'm laughing, but it's not laughable. Her brother died last year of brain cancer. He had a tumor, and proceeds have went to his family. I have bought 3 calendars. This is my 3rd year for the calendar. 3 successive years, but I also bought 3 calendars, and one of them I gave away in November at the guild meeting. People loved it, thought it was funny. I have my own. I realize this is one, not everybody's cup of tea of humor, and 2, it's not the beginning of the year, it's April, so it's kind of a double oops there. Well, not necessarily, but it's very fun. We had a lot of fun at the meeting. The first month she's got all the, the extra people that didn't quite make it on their own page, but they're all pretty cool. Funny. Some of them are a little awkward. Stormtrooper. Oops. There's this month. I just got done looking at Scott in his hammock with his burrito and his quilts. The quilts are wonderful. It goes to a good cause. maybe nobody wants this. A bike. A bike is special to Megan and her brother. That, I realize, is not probably the best option, so I would maybe put this in with one of the other 2 books. Or maybe bundle all 3 just for a thank you. I really love doing this year. I don't know how I'm going to do next year. Got to decide. Definitely, if I would do video, I need to figure out how to edit, obviously. I appreciate you playing along with me. I hope you guys feel like you've been energized. I've had so many positive comments, and I hope you guys have felt so positive and such good energy back to you, because this is not just for me. It is for me and it helps me, but I hope it helps at least some people. And I think some people have loved hearing the ants again, because that was something I used to do in a podcast I used to have. So I've kind of missed that. There's been kind of back and forth feelings about podcasting lately, but I'm still holding to the idea, maybe not to return it still. Might do some more tutorials, so we'll see. Anyway, I realized video isn't quite as scary as I thought it was, or started out. So this has been a challenge for me too. Growing opportunity for all of us. Thank you so much for playing along, and have a great day. Quilt more.